This show is much more than just waxing. It's a movement to empower women to heal and thrive, all while shedding guilt and shame along the way. Have you ever wondered what conversations unfold behind the closed doors of a wax room? Well, wonder no more. We are here to bring those intimate, exciting, and unconventional discussions to the big screen. Each wax strip tells a story, and every story deserves to be heard. So welcome to Wax Room on Air, where we're peeling back more than just wax strips. My name is Choc. I'm your host and coochie connoisseur. Trigger warning. This podcast episode includes discussions about narcissistic abuse, which may be distressing for some listeners. Topics may involve emotional manipulation, exploitation, and psychological harm. If you have experienced or are currently dealing with narcissistic abuse, please be mindful of your emotional well-being while listening. It's okay to take a break or even skip this episode if you feel it might negatively impact your mental health. Remember, seeking support from friends, family, or mental health professionals is important when dealing with such sensitive topics. So welcome to Wax Room on Air, where we're peeling back more than just wax strips. My name is Choc. I'm your host and coochie connoisseur. Let's get into the conversation. So today we have a very special guest. I'm going to say that on every episode because every guest who takes the time out of their busy schedule to come sit down and have a conversation with me is very near and dear to my heart. But today, ladies, we got a special kind of man. Y'all know the person y'all know the person that you call every time you get yourself into some shit and they talk you out of it and they correct you without being condescending, but also leading you in the right direction. This is that person for me because I be doing some stupid shit. If you tell me to go left, I'm going to go right just because I wanted to see what it was like. Like, what? And he just get on the phone and be like, Chocolate, I told you to go left, but although you went right, I'm still here for you. Actually, you know what? Let me switch that around because I be going left. Chocolate, I told you to go right, but even though you went left, I'm still here for you. He is a very phenomenal man, y'all. He is always on time to everything. He beat me here today. I tried my best, but I just couldn't fucking do it. He probably was here in the parking lot like 45 minutes early. He's just a wonderful, amazing man with his shit together, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. And I mean, I just can go on and on, but I won't. I'm just going to let my guest introduce himself. Fred. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I cannot forget, y'all. Ladies, he has a way with his hands. And believe you me, he's all yours because he's family and we don't do that kissing cousin shit around here. But he is the best massage therapist that I have ever encountered, and I'm not being biased. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Fred.
Hey.
Hey. What's been up with you, my guy?
I've been working.
I should have known that.
That's about it.
Working.
I'm working, and I'm kicking it with my sister. that's my life right now. Got some, a lot of changes in life, so been reconnecting with people that I value.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I like that, reconnecting with people that I value. I changed my phone number, and what I can say is like everybody that has my number, I value because I did have to go through a period of disconnecting from people. I wouldn't even say people that I didn't value because I have a problem valuing every fucking body, but it wasn't, reciprocal. So definitely, like I know without a shadow of a doubt, everybody in my phone right now is somebody that I value and they value me just the same. I ain't gotta my heart don't drop when the phone ring, none of that, because I know it's somebody that I actually want to hear from. Unless somebody start doing some skip tracing shit and get my phone number, which I hope we're not gonna be. I hope those days are far behind me. Alrighty, y'all. So it is time for the pre-cleanse. In the real wax room, when I do a pre-cleanse, I'm just essentially prepping my client I'm prepping their skin for the wax So when we're doing it here in Wax Room on Air, I'm just prepping my guests for the interview, the conversations, the talk we about to have. So without further ado, my name is Choc. I'll be your waxer today. This wax room is for naked conversations. So I do ask that you remove all masks, armor, and leave any facades that you may have at the door. With that being said, I do have a question to ask you, Fred. Are you naked?
For sure.
Let's get into the conversation. Alrighty. So first, I'm gonna do a temp check in the real wax room. That's just basically me mixing the wax. I put a little bit on the client's skin, so I can know if I can continue to proceed. If it's too hot, then I need to cool it down. If it's good, then we good to go. That translates into basically a mental health check-in. So I'm gonna just do a temp check on you. Ask you, how's the wax? How's your mental? How are you doing? Let me know. What's up?
I'm good. I'm ready for any topic. For sure. I will say, especially with this subject, I'll give all of my experience, but when it comes to timelines, names, all that stuff, I want to respect people.
Right.
So I'm gonna say everything that I can say.
Right, with protecting identities and things of that nature. I respect that.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. I don't want you to get on here and out nobody. I'm not trying to be sued. I expect for this thing to go big, and I ain't trying. Don't name drop, please.
Yeah.
And if he name drop Spider, can you please bleep it out? Okay, drop a sister, cause baby, I ain't lawsuit. I ain't ready for lawsuit money yet. We ain't there yet, yo. We're gonna be there one day, but we ain't there yet. So please, no, don't name drop. You ain't gotta add no timelines or anything like that. And I do my best to try to respect people because this was really a tough topic for me to agree to, but it's also a thing between me and God. This podcast was not even a vision of mine. It was an assignment from him. And so I tried to dance around this topic and I tried to avoid it. I wanted to do all the cute things, all the fun, laughy, flirty things. And he was like, I'm not playing with you. Do what I told you to do. So with that being said, I was like, okay, I am going to put a real topic in my first drop, but I really don't want to demonize anybody. And that's because we are all human and we all got to give grace. God give us grace. So it's never, ever in any conversation will it ever be my intent to demonize. I'm not going to ever provoke my guests to try to demonize anybody. I just want to talk about experiences. I do believe that we should be able to share our experiences and get things off our chest, because I think that was one of the difficult things for me in my little season, was feeling like I could not talk. I felt silence. And that's really one of the cornerstones, I guess, of this podcast is like openness. I want people to come in here and have open conversations and a safe place to talk. So you don't have to feel like you're silenced, because I felt silenced for a really long time. So yeah, I just want to reiterate that this is not to demonize anybody. We just want to share our experiences and hopefully we can help others heal. And when y'all listening, y'all be like, bro, I went through that shit too. So you don't feel like you're the only person. Let's get into the bikini strip. The bikini strip in the wax room is basically an introduction to the wax. It just gives the client an expectation of what's to come in the wax room on air. That just translates into an icebreaker question. I done already told y'all this man got his shit together. And this first question, this first bikini strip is one that I really need to know, because I probably need to take some notes. What is your morning routine?
Oh, you might be a little disappointed.
Hey, why is that?
No, I don't have a very specific morning routine. I know what time I want to get. I know what time I need to get where I'm trying to get. So I give myself an hour to get where I'm trying to get. Okay. And then that other hour is just regular, just getting dressed. Yeah. No, I don't do anything special. I don't meditate. I don't, you know. I know it come off as like I seem like the kind of person that's gonna be getting in a Zen room every morning.
Right. I was just
But
gonna say
no,
that. Real
I
zen
don't do
boy.
that. I do like meditation. I am trying to implement yoga as far as a routine in my life, Pilates, fitness, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
But
like that.
it's not a morning routine.
Do you want to make it a part of your morning routine?
No, actually.
Really?
I like my
No?
mornings to be chill. So I personally, I need my mornings to be very calm.
I just
Yeah.
recently discovered something called a quiet morning, where
Mhm.
you're not like hustling, bustling, rushing like I usually am,
Yes.
running out the house, leaving the car keys. Like, how the fuck did you expect to drive off without the keys?
Mm-hmm.
And I really do like those. Like, you wake up 30 minutes. I mean, it's your choice, but ideally 30, 45 minutes before your usual time, and you just sit in complete silence and quietness and just stillness. And it has really helped me with my morning routine because, y'all, I be all over the place all the time, 24/7. You said you give yourself an hour to get where you're going
Mm-hmm.
and another hour to get dressed. So that means, like, if you got somewhere to be at 8, you wake up at what time?
I'm up at probably about.
By 6?
I'm up at 5 to 6 every morning, not
Anyways?
on purpose.
Oh.
No, I used to have to get up to go to work at 7 every morning, and I did that for. I was reading meters. I read electric meters and gas meters before I got into massage.
Oh, okay.
So that was a very early morning, and
Cutting people
I
shit off
did that.
early in the morning. You cut it off too?
No, I just read the meters.
Oh.
When I got to gas meters, I ended up in construction, so I was fixing. I never did the
Okay.
cutoff. So
Okay. Well, you know what? You look like that type of guy to just come fix some stuff. Put it together. You're not going to destroy nothing. You're going to build them up.
I like to
I
build.
like it. I like it. I believe it. I can believe it. I can absolutely believe it. But yeah, I just feel like people with their shit together that arrive to places the day before, I really just want to know what y'all morning routines look like, because I've tried all of the things, like making the bed up in the morning and like all of the things. I think one of my biggest problems is like not doing it. I put a lot of stuff off into the morning. Like the other day I was packing a lunch and I was at my nanny house and I was like, I'll just do it in the morning. And she was like, no, you're not. Go do it right now. It's going to take you 5 minutes to do it, honey. You never wait until the morning time. It could be raining. Anything can happen by the morning. You do it right now while you got time.
If you give yourself enough time in the morning, then you could wait till the morning. But you don't. I can't imagine that you get up an hour before you need to leave.
Okay, let me tell you this. I have changed a lot over the last year, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I get up every morning at about 4:45. And even if I just lay there and like I pray, and sometimes I might doze off, but I have it set for the 4:45 literally because I know I need to get up at 5:15. And so I've kind of like psyched myself out because I know my ass is ghetto. And if the 5:15 alarm is the first one to ring, I'm just gonna go back to sleep. So I set the 4:45.
What time you gotta leave the house?
So I like to leave the house by 6 a.m. for the new project that I'm on. I'm in training, doing a little 1-2. Y'all gonna hear about that later on in the show when I graduate, get my little certificates and, you know, my accolades, diplomas, all of that. But I'm in training right now, so I have to be there at 7:30, and I like to be in the parking lots at 7 a.m. before the doors even open.
I'm
Okay?
surprised. I'm a little surprised. But
I
nice
don't
job.
know. I really like this the last year and a half almost, it's changed a lot for me. Like I really like with time, I'm a lot better with time than what I usually have been. So, but I still feel like y'all got y'all shit together when y'all be places 10 hours early. Cause sometimes that's 7 a.m. Sometimes it be 7:15, and I give myself grace because the old Choc would have been here at like 7:35 and proud of myself.
Not proud.
Proud of myself. Like,
I
shit.
made it. I'm 5 minutes late.
Motherfucker, you
only.
lucky I didn't come in here at 9 o'clock.
Now for massage, I get to work about an hour early because I get there.
It'd be 2 hours.
No,
A lot of
It
these
be
people.
too. It
it's
be
an
2
hour.
hours.
He's supposed
Okay,
to be there at
so
9. His first client come at 9. He there at 7:30, 7:15.
7:30, 7:45
Clock in
because I need
already.
my hot towels in the towel warmer at
That
least
is
for an
true.
hour.
That's true.
It take a whole hour to heat up because I set it up to where it's like 10 towels can go in there. Maybe you can get more, but that's the number I got, and it take at least an hour to get those to the temperature that I personally want them.
You just very particular. Just got
I
your
am,
whole
I
life
am.
together.
Not the whole life.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. You
Mhm.
know, I'm
I don't believe it. I
A
think
lot
you
more
got
than
your whole
most
life
of us.
together. Literally.
A lot more than most.
One of my mentors, shout out to you, Nikki. I love you so much. She's my mentor. She's my client. She's my text lady, baby. She be keeping me all the way together, okay? She told me today we was on the phone and she was like, Choc, you are so hard on yourself because all your friends, everybody you talk to, we 45, bitch. We older than you. We like well into our 30s. You still in your 20s and you comparing your life to us. You're not gonna get it. Like, ask them what mistakes were they making in their 20s, and then you'll give yourself a lot more grace. You will have a whole different perspective of your life than what you got now. Cause I ain't lying. Watching my granny move around the way she do, I be like, bro, why am I not like this? But then again, she is 60, so like she kind of got 40 years of experience on me. So it is what it is.
I mean, if you just look around at the people that your age, you'll see where you are.
She told she told me that Nikki said, go to the bars with 25, 28, 29-year-olds and like really talk to these people. And like you talk to us, and then you will actually see how far along and how great you're actually doing in life.
Because the conversation gonna last all
I've
of
been
6
told
seconds.
you.
She did say that.
You're gonna be like, okay, why did I start talking at this point?
She absolutely did say that.
Yeah, like you are a very business minded individual. How many people your age own that?
I don't know.
That's
Not that's what she said. She was like, the conversation gonna be boring. Like, sis, you're gonna find out real quick. So that third
don't
voice
talk
that
about
y'all
Nikki.
hear, she trying to be funny. She don't want to be on camera.
Now she's trying to be funny.
That's my
But they
baby
gonna be
sister.
wondering who that is.
That's
I
my
like the
baby
mystery.
sister. Tell 'em
Okay,
your
so we're
name.
not gonna introduce. You know what your name said?
Coco Simone.
Coco Simone. Okay, we got
Hey,
Coco Simone in
She's
the
a
motherfucking
model.
building.
Hey.
What is? Go on, Fred. Do an introduction, please.
Yeah, please.
So
Come on, brother.
my amazing sister. Brilliant mind. She's currently a model. One of the smartest people I know. She also owns a business, Hood Tender Drinks.
Okay, period.
Owner operator.
We in the building.
We got that over here.
Hey.
We in the building.
She's running through it.
We in the
She
building. I
does.
am.
You know,
She finna
tell
have
them
me
what
drunk.
you do. You got the mic over there. Tell them about Hood Tender Drinks.
Lemonade based fruit cocktail. So any drink you can think of, I can make it, basically.
That pregnant sauce.
So you do
Little something.
you do regular bartending as well?
Yeah, I'm bookable. Bookable.
She tell them the sizes that you got. You got
I got 4 ounce, 8 ounce, 10, 12, and 16 ounce. And then I make non-alcoholic drinks for the little kiddos. You know, everybody
For the boring
want to be
people.
like, yeah, that very much. So.
Don't call me boring.
For the dry people.
You see how pointed.
For the dry people. Boring.
People
What
like,
size
can
is
you,
it?
can you give it to me? That is the 16 ounce.
The
What about
who?
16 ounce.
Oh my God.
What about
Yeah.
the big one? What you call that?
The jugs. You talking about the gallon?
Got the
I got
jugs and
dispensers.
everything. Dispensers.
I can do
There we
parties,
go.
all that.
Love
What you
it.
need, she got it.
Anything. So speaking of, I have a new hobby that I want to take up, and that's bartending. Y'all know I'm always doing something new.
It's fun.
We're gonna have to have a conversation because I really am finna take it serious. I said for like 6 weeks, I'm gonna get a job for real. I'm gonna get a job and I'm gonna see how I like it. And y'all know I know how to leave a job quick. If you don't, you gonna learn on this podcast, baby. I get the fuck out of a
If I
job
ain't what
very
that is,
quick. A lot of people have been telling me like, oh my God, you would make a great bartender. It'd be so random. And they be like, you are so pretty. You
I
would
was
make
gonna say
a
it's 'cause he
good
cute.
you would make a good bartender.
The cute
You
ones are always the best
funny.
ones.
They
Now-
one thing that I will say is a lot of people been telling me, okay, when we talk about it, when it comes up, I always be like, oh my God, I want to bartend too, kind of like I just did you. Like, I've been thinking about bartending. Every fucking body always say the same shit. You should start at Twin Peaks.
So
No lie, I started off at Hooters. Not gonna even cap. I started off at Hooters. So
Oh my God.
I can't even
That's
say
another
nothing.
download. I don't care what you say. They throw Hooters in there. But then it always goes back to like, no, you are definitely more of a Twin Peaks girl than a Hooters. The crazy thing is I'm scarred. Twin Peaks got me scarred. Like, I like the atmosphere, and I will sneak up in the bar every now and again, but I can't work there, y'all. I can't work at Twin Peaks, so we're going to have to find another starter bar. And I know I can't do Hooters, so I've tried. I actually have interviewed for Hooters before. I was really young, though, and he asked me to sell him some hot sauce, and I can't sell water to a fucking well. So I don't need. He was like, sell me this hot sauce right now. Now if that nigga tell me to sell him the hot sauce, baby, I can. But back then I could not sell him that hot sauce for shit, so I didn't get the job. But I feel like I got the Hooters though. I think I got the Hooters though. But yeah, in real time, like when I go to different places or like different social events, or like I end up bumping into somebody at the grocery store. Stuff like that. And I just be like, where did that come from? Like, I don't know. Okay. Kind of like how I got into waxing. Like, everybody would stop me and they would have something to say about my brows. I had just learned how to do my brows. I was like, do you do makeup? You should do brows. You should do brows. And after like the 100th time, I remember one time we was leaving the mall. Me and one of my exes, we were leaving the mall. And he was like, man, 3 people stopped you in there, bro. You really need to look into doing that shit. And so, like, I started looking up the classes. Ended up in aesthetic school, became a waxer. The rest is history.
There we go.
So it was like that type of, it's like that type of thing. Like,
that's what's up.
God, I want to do something different. My heart will always be in waxing, but I don't really want to get into that. My heart will always be in waxing, but for right now, I just kind of need like a cute little project or whatever. And I feel like, especially like expanding and becoming a part of the media with this podcast, being at these social events, like with the DJs and with the people who are connected in the city, that's a great place to start. Because I mean, I can always walk in a bar and be like, hey, I'm a waxer, talk to me. And I don't see the same connection, but it's less about like the alcohol, because I know that's kind of God and alcohol. Like, God ain't telling you to serve nobody alcohol. That ain't what I'm saying. And he could be blessing people. I mean, he could put you in the he could use you. He could use you. God can use you. Let the Lord use you. I get a lot of backlash from being a waxer. And it's like, how are you a waxer, but you got strong faith in God?
What?
Yeah, because it's considered like a part of the sex industry, which it is. I mean, you are grooming vaginas, and people are using their vaginas for worldly things. And it's like, there are prostitutes that come in there. There are strippers that come in there. There are women, sex workers.
That's a really big stretch.
Do you think it is?
I think it is.
I've always felt not convicted or offended. I can't think of the word, but it had me on my toes.
They weighed on you a little bit. Just hearing them say that.
It made me feel like I can't really talk about God, or like, damn, am I doing something wrong?
So what I see when you post is knowledge and information about vagina health. That's what I hear from you.
I think it's more so of just like the industry. Like I say the P word a lot. This right here is called a pussy box. It's sponsoring our episode. We're going to talk about it a little later. But I say the P word a lot. So
you could change that word and still look.
I am actually moving towards changing the word.
There you go.
Because you know who inspired me to do that? Country Wayne. I watched his interview the other day with Shannon Sharp. And he was saying how he took cursing out of his content, and he really elevated himself. And I told myself, like, it's okay to let the secular curse words and things. I'm a cuss for at least the next 3 episodes, but just know I'm trying to work on it, y'all. Because if you want the brand to go far and you want to get other audiences and things of that nature, then you do have to clean it up a little bit. But I kind of be on the fence. I do fight with those things a lot. But again, the bartending thing, honestly, I don't know where or when. It was just random. And then I started having these dreams, and then the conversations would manifest in the world for real. And so it's just like, maybe this is something that I need to try. So we're going to see. So the second bikini strip that I'm going to pull is, what is your greatest lesson in life thus far? I know that was a little bit
Probably
more than a bikini strip.
the most recent one, which is to stop self-sacrificing.
Come a little closer.
Probably the most recent one, which is to stop self-sacrificing for the sake of other people's happiness or for any reason, really.
Okay. I
Yeah.
like that. So what does self-sacrificing look like? Is that people pleasing?
It can be. It can manifest as that. There can also be an element of ego involved in the sense that I want to save.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, save.
Have to save them.
Okay.
Is empathy.
Let's see.
I care legitimately, but recognizing where I should have boundaries and should maintain where I am and what I want.
I heard you say something that struck my attention.
Mm-hmm.
You said ego. So in one of my therapy sessions, my therapist had asked me, I went in to say, like, I've done all these things. I did everything that the person needed me to do. I'm not crying this fucking early in the episode, bro. I'm not doing it. We can get into this.
Thug.
Okay.
Gangster.
We can get into this gangster shit or
Hold
we
up.
can keep it cute. And I'm gonna try to do both. I had told her, I was like, I did all of these things to help this person out, to make them happy. Like, I was everything they needed me to be. And then she asked me, she was like, why did you do it?
It's my favorite question.
I'm like, because like he needed it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I seen where he lacked, or I seen where he was going through this. So I wanted to alleviate those problems. And she was like, why? I'm like, damn, I just told you why.
Mm-hmm.
And as she dug deeper, what she made me realize is that I did that for two reasons. Number one, because I wanted somebody to come in and do it for me. And so I do it in a way of expectation. Like, I automatically expect the reciprocity, because if I'm doing it for you, if I scratch your back, you're definitely going to scratch mine because I scratch yours. And then the second reason why kind of broke me down, and when you said ego, it made me like, man, therapy is like a mirror. Like, like, bitch, here, look at yourself. Do you see yourself?
Well, relationships are too.
She was like, the second reason why you did it is because you're a saver. You're a healer. It make you feel good. It's for your ego. So when you did come in and solve a problem, and when you did alleviate an issue and you made him feel better, yes, you really did care about him. Yes, you really did love him. But at the same time, it made you feel good. It was a deposit for you too.
Look what I did.
Look what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Literally shocked, because in a way, you know how they say like people do stuff for you just to like brag or like just to throw it up in your face. So that's where we went with it. And I started to tell her, like, I would never throw it up in nobody's face. Like, I don't do stuff because like I want to throw it up in your face or I want to say you needed me. And she was like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just simply leaving it as that was your ego was involved in that. You did it because it did make you feel good too. You got something out of it.
You did it for you, not for them. And that's the lie that we tell ourselves. Right?
Oh, expound on that. I'm going to switch to the red one because let's slow it down. DJ, slow it down on the ones and twos. Okay.
I've been in relationships where I wouldn't say certain things. Say the things that needs to be said. And I would argue that, oh, well, I just want to protect their feelings. Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is, in the end, what I really didn't want is the conflict that came with telling the truth. So I'm going to change. I'm going to adapt. I'm going to do whatever needs to be done to maintain this lack of conflict. So I'm not doing that. And I'll say, I'm trying to protect your feelings. But I'm really just trying to avoid dealing with that whole situation.
when you say you do it for them, right?
Mhm.
You come and you alleviate the pain, you alleviate the stressors, you're helping them out.
Mhm.
Even if it's coming from a genuine place, because that was the confusing part for me, because I know for a
Yeah,
fact it's coming from a genuine place. I'm
for
not
sure.
doing it to throw it up in your face. Can you clear up that confusion for me, or like provide some clarity there? If it's coming from a genuine place,
Mhm.
how am I doing it for me?
The instances in which you do something for someone, let's say this person didn't ask you to do it, right?
Uh-huh.
We'll say that all this person did is tell you what's going on in their life. If you decide to go above and beyond
Mm.
and past what you actually, in these situations, how much of yourself are you sacrificing?
Whew.
You're giving your all.
I was
You're
gonna say,
giving even more than you actually have to
I
give,
was literally
right?
gonna ask. Yeah, is 110% a
Right.
thing? Because everything and it's
Where to me the line is, if I decide to do more than I'm capable of doing for the sake of this person who did not ask me to do more than I'm capable of doing, I'm now doing something that this person didn't ask me to do, but I'm all proud of it.
Is that one of
Yeah.
those things where like you breaking your own heart? You know, have y'all ever heard that saying, you broke your own heart by having expectation,
Hmm.
by going above and beyond? Now,
Because what I'm willing to do for you, I expect that you should be willing to do the same thing.
mm-hmm.
But in most cases, they've never actually said that they were willing to do the same
Let
thing.
me be honest too, because that's what this podcast is about.
Mm-hmm.
It's offensive to me. Like when she first said it, I was offended. Because are you telling me that I did everything I did because I just wanted to show off?
No.
Like when I know for a fact I was sacrificing and I know for a fact it wasn't easy. But on the flip end, it was what they call it, like a notch in your belt. Like when I know, oh, Choc done saved the day again.
Well, more than likely in those dynamics, what we're doing isn't to show off as much as it's to prove to that person we got their back.
Oh my God.
All the
We
while,
we
low
we
key showing them like, this is how you supposed to be loving me. This is how you supposed to be treating me. You should be bending over backwards for me the way I'm bending over for you.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's
but
not
neither is true.
normally reciprocated because ain't nobody going. It's not normal for people to go out their way to do what you need to be done. That's not normal. You're not a normal person because you go out your way
Oh,
to do for
fuck.
people.
Okay,
That's not normal.
boundaries. Okay, but no boundaries. If you,
No boundaries.
wow.
So if I live out this relationship with no boundaries, then guess what that person learns?
To cross them all the
I
time.
don't have any boundaries, and I'm
Mm.
just going to do whatever the heck they say.
I would like to insert something there.
Please.
I do know there was not even a point in time. Like, so this last situation, a person re-entered my life. They had an exit and then they re-entered. At this re-entrance, it was a lot of doing. And it was a lot of going above and beyond. And honestly, it's funny because we would joke. I would tell him like, you and your little 6-week free trial. I don't know what you finna do because every time we get going, bruh, you do some stupid shit in the first 6 weeks. So I'm gonna give you a 6-week free trial. And I'm gonna see what you gonna do in these 6 weeks. And he showed up and he showed the fuck out. And so it was times where he was going above and beyond. But also when I look back in reflection, those are things that a man were supposed to do. So you should have never been that proud or made that a green light. Anyways, it should have been a requirement.
Example of things that men are supposed to do, please.
Oh,
matter of fact, just give me the list. What are men supposed to do?
what are men supposed to do? Just like one thing is like he's not a condescending person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like if I made a mistake, like I really don't want to say this because this shit low-key embarrassing. And it's so funny because I have a rap, I have a freestyle I'm finna release pretty soon, y'all. If God say the same. Me and him be struggling. And I don't be wanting to do it because I'm scared, but I feel like he been on my neck. So I say this word in one of the freestyles. And it's funny because it was literally a freestyle and I said that whole right in the freestyle, but I never say this word right, bro. I never say this word right. But for whatever reason, I got mad enough and I said it right in the freestyle. And it's funny because the freestyle is kind of about the person. So anyways, back to back to the condescending part. So I know one time we were talking and I said triology. Do you know what word I was trying to say?
Trilogy.
Okay.
I said triology and I said that shit confident as fuck.
Players mess up too.
I'm wasting wine and shit. I said that shit confident as fuck in the bed. I forgot what we was talking about. We was talking about a movie or something. I was like, ain't it a triology? And he was like,
A trilogy?
babe, you mean trilogy? It's called trilogy. And it was so sweet. And it was like not condescending and it wasn't rude and it wasn't like, you dumbass bitch, you said the word wrong. And the problem with this is I have been used to the other side of like, you stupid.
With this person.
No.
Okay.
No.
Gotcha.
That's another thing that we'll get into. Very respectful person.
That's what's up.
Very like sweet, very charming up front, you know?
But you've been used to the other side.
But I have been used to the other side with different people that they would say condescending things. They would say evil, nasty things. And so to have somebody be nice, it felt like, oh, this is a go. This is a green flag. When it should just be a basic requirement. It's just bare
Basic
minimum.
Human decency.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. But for me, it was the world.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, oh, yeah, marry him. So, daddy issues.
Yeah. When it's very easy to go to that extreme when it's not something that you're familiar with.
Right.
So,
Right.
it makes sense.
This segment is called Wax in Session, y'all. It's time to get down to the nitty gritty, the real part of the conversation. So we done pulling them bikini strips. We done already checked the wax. We done already checked the wax. All of that thing. It is time for you to butterfly for me. When I tell my clients to butterfly in the wax room, they have to like put their feet together and spread their legs far, far apart so I can get all up into their business. I need to be able to get in there, get every single little hair that I see, that I spy with my little eye. So when we get into this waxing session and I ask you to butterfly for me, I need you to be open. And I'm finna get in your business.
That's what I'm here for.
I'm finna get all up in there. So with that being said, Fred, can you butterfly for me?
Let's do it.
Thank you. Have you ever experienced narcissism from a woman?
Yes.
You have.
Mm-hmm.
Say woman, I mean any woman, like family member, romantic partner, supervisor, all of the above.
All of the above.
You know why I asked that question?
Why?
Because as biased as it might seem, I just was like, somebody told me that their mother was a narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, women can be narcissists?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that might seem ignorant, but I like to look at stuff through my lens. And I know, well, shit, I don't know. I be wondering if I am too. We're going to get into that later. I don't think I am, but I feel like I might have a few traits here and there. But yeah, so I was shocked that women can be narcissists, especially mothers. I never ever experienced, encountered, or heard that before this particular situation. So what does narcissism look like in a woman if you can put a gender on it?
There are many different styles of narcissism, and narcissism itself is more a personality style.
Mm-hmm.
What I've seen, the biggest difference I've seen is men. The men I've seen that are narcissists are more, what's the word for them? They're the more obvious, like the the super arrogant.
Mm.
Like it's very easy to see for the most part. The ones that I've seen.
Really?
The women I've come across tend to be the ones that are more victim.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Covert? Is that the covert narcissist?
covert.
Okay. I've been doing
That
a little
was
research.
my first relationship narcissist, a covert narcissist.
At what point
Wow.
in the relationship did you realize, like, oh, this person might be a narcissist?
She was the one who actually got me to learn about narcissists.
What? Now she stole your phone and help
I
you
didn't
look
even.
for it.
No. I wasn't aware that it was a thing until this person. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying like she came to you and had you researching narcissism.
Well, no, it's kind of funny how life
Like,
happens.
damn, sis code. Let
Because
me show you what I'm gonna do to you, nigga.
Stuff comes across when you need it the most.
Mhm.
And I came across narcissism. As a matter of fact, no, I take that back. She's not the one who taught me about narcissism. She's the one. When I was dealing with her is when I came across covert narcissism specifically. That's what it was. It was an interesting time, and it's a very confusing place to be. To try and have conversations with someone who's consistently dedicated to misunderstanding you and to causing arguments, to be the victim. It's a really weird thing to deal with, especially when you're someone who really tries to communicate effectively.
You are an awesome communicator.
I try.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're dealing with these kind of personality styles, it doesn't matter how well you communicate, because all they really care about is their specific agenda and how they feel specifically in the moment.
I thought covert narcissism was like people who hide it really well.
They hide it in
malignant.
public. In public, they will seem to be the nicest, most sweet person there ever was.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they get home, everything is everybody else's.
But there.
Yes. No accountability. But I mean, lack of accountability is going to be across the board for narcissism in general.
Mm-hmm.
So the mere fact that you asked or you wonder, am I a narcissist? Probably means you're not a narcissist.
Do you know my therapist said that same thing?
Yeah.
She said,
my friend Carolyn told me the same thing. Yeah. There's zero self-awareness. Even if there is the capability to, there's no willingness to be, because they don't want to look at themselves, because that requires accountability. If I see anything wrong with me, if I acknowledge it, then I'm required to change it. They know it. They're smart enough to know it.
Oh, them fuckers are smart. It's fucking
Yeah.
psychopaths.
They
Fucking
just overall lack empathy as a whole.
Serial
Mhm.
killing ass psychopaths, the most smartest motherfucking people I've ever seen in my life. Like, you a smart motherfucker. You knew what you was doing. God damn it. I wanna stay there a little bit about identifying it, because again, I was shocked that a mother was a narcissist, and that was one of the things that the daughter was saying. Like, she doesn't take accountability. She blames everybody else. The attention has to always be on her. It was a lot of jealousy. It was a lot of rage and things that they experienced. And I know these people personally, so I was like, oh fuck, you're actually right.
Yeah.
You're actually fucking right. I think, she might be. But one thing that confuses me, and remember, like you were telling me, you need to research narcissism so you know what to look for, so you stop falling in this trap. And I was like, we had this conversation like a year ago, y'all. And I was like, I'm not. Yeah, it has been a year. I know for a fact it was 23. I was like, I'm not researching it. I refuse to research it, because the more I research it, I end up going through these rabbit holes.
Yeah.
And not only that, I find out, or I uncover another fact or another truth of what I was experiencing. And so it's like, damn, I was going through that too. Like, that was actually a part of narcissism. And so it hurts. Like when you realize like the time that we had this conversation or this argument, it wasn't just a regular argument. It was a part of you being manipulated or gaslighted. Or it was, I mean, it's a lot of the things, you know, that I don't want to say victims, but it's a lot of things that the people who experience narcissism on the other side, it's a lot of the things that they go through. And so as I'm reading, I'm not even realizing like that these are a thing. Like triangulation. When I was doing my research, I found out what triangulation was. And then I went down this rabbit hole and realized that shit was present in the very beginning, even before the commitment.
Define triangulation.
Okay, I guess we can go ahead. I was kind of like in the later part. No, but I will. So triangulation is where you take two people essentially and you turn them against each other. Right? So you have the narcissist at the point of the triangle. They're the one person. And then you have two other parties. And he's or she's, they're putting you against each other for their own selfish enjoyment and pleasure. And they kind of alternate. Like they make one of y'all the flying monkey is what they call it. That's a narcissistic term. A flying monkey is basically somebody that approves everything you do. Like you're right, everybody else is wrong. I love you. You know, that's your flying monkey. And then on the other side, you have somebody that you're smearing. You're having a smear campaign against. And basically a smear campaign, this is another narcissistic term, is where you just telling all the bad shit that they've ever done to you. You're making them the worst person in the world. And in turn, you're turning these people against each other. And it's a guilty, I guess, pleasure from a narcissist. So
well, they don't do anything that they don't gain value from. So there's a reason that they need that person to be their flying monkey against this person. They gain something from it. It's more times than not, it's not for pleasure.
Oh wow. Now that's deep.
The most important thing to understand about narcissists is that they are not born, they're created, which means life circumstances more than likely led them to be this way.
I've gathered that so far.
What that life is, you may never know because they might not tell you.
I've learned. A lot of the times, dad missing, mom was abusive.
When you get around their family, you start to understand. Oh, I see why you do this and that and this. But the other piece to understand about that is just because you understand why they are how they are doesn't mean you should accept the treatment that you receive. So that's where people have a hard time, especially empaths, have a hard time separating things. Because you want to be understanding, you feel bad for them. And in truth, whether or not they show it, narcissists are probably the most insecure, sad people you will ever meet.
And that's one of the things that confuses me. That's why I go back and forth. Like, is this person a narcissist? Because, and not just one person, this is several people, like in my therapy sessions where they say, okay, this person also has shown narcissistic traits. So mind you, I've had several therapists and they all say the same thing about one person actually. And to this day, I don't think that person is a narcissist. I really don't. And maybe I just refuse to believe it for my own safety of my own heart. Like, I don't want to believe that. So I'm just going to say, like, no, you're not. This is another term that you guys will learn if you have experienced narcissism, is betrayal blindness. And I don't know, maybe you might learn a lot from this episode because I didn't learn all of these things in one time. It took me years to learn all of these things. But with this one particular person, I really do suffer from betrayal blindness because they do things to me and I think they're like, oh, they didn't mean it like that. Or he just got mad or whatever the case was. And I remember one of my friends told me, Precious, he's the enemy. After everything that he's done to you, he is the fucking enemy. And mind you, this is one of the people who's been a part of my life for a very long time, since I was about 15 years old. And so I'm always like defending this person, like with everything in me. And one of my friends, they were like, he the enemy. Everything that he has done to you has been that of what an enemy would do. And you just don't see it. And he's like, it's no coming back from this. Like, one of the things that he did was put my nude videos and pictures online. And mind you, they were from our relationship. That it wasn't something like I was being a hoe or like anything of that. These are pictures and videos that you've taken of me or I've taken of myself to send to you, like sexy stuff. And we are in a relationship and we are engaged, and you took that shit after the relationship and you put it on social media in an attempt to like embarrass me or hush me up, because that's another thing. Like, one thing about me, baby, I'm gonna tell the fucking truth. And I'm gonna talk my shit, even on social media. A lot of people always tell me, like, you got all your business on social media. I don't give a fuck. No, I don't. Because the shit that y'all really want to know or that I really don't want you to find out, you'll never find out. All this other stuff, I don't care.
Right.
But I'm kind of getting off the topic. So the person was telling me after that incident, they was like, he is an enemy. And you need to forever position him as such and look at him as such and never let that change. And so when I do talk about certain situations that I've been through with that person, a lot of my mental health professionals and people of that nature in that little realm, whether it's a therapist or a spiritual person or whatever, they do refer to that person like it, or they'll ask me like, do you think he's a narcissist? Or has he ever been diagnosed? And I'm like, no, I really don't think that person is a narc. But at the same time, betrayal blindness is a thing. So maybe I'm just blind to the shit that he do.
So, from my understanding, so we have the personality style narcissism, and then we have
the actual disorder.
The disorder.
Okay.
Most narcissists will not be diagnosed because they won't really even go in to find out.
You know what's funny? My therapist told me, she was like, oh my God, this is so crazy. We get into all of this right now. Yeah. But she was like, so obviously she couldn't diagnose the person. And let me put this disclaimer, even though this is also at the end of the episode, I'm not putting a diagnosis on anybody. I am not claiming that anybody is a narcissist. Nothing of the fact. I'm just speaking of my experiences. These are my own personal experiences, my own personal research that I have done, right? I'm speaking all fact, all truth of the things that I've been through. I'm not diagnosing nobody, okay?
At minimum, they're narcissist-like.
Narcissist-like, okay? Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Let's throw the allegedly in there.
What they say, if it looked like a duck.
Quack like a duck. It probably is a motherfucking duck. So she was like, okay, I can't diagnose him legally because I'm not his provider. I'm not his therapist or what have you. But she told me, like, this is what I want you to understand. If everything that you told me that you went through is a fact, and this person was my client admitting to me that they did this to you, I would absolutely 100% diagnose them with narcissistic personality disorder. But because they're not my client, I cannot diagnose them with NPD. I can tell you this is what it looks like that they have. Also, much to your point where you said they probably would never be diagnosed, she said there are clients that she has that she knows for a fact they have NPD, but they're so busy trying to convince her and manipulate her that
you spending your money to manipulate me.
To manipulate. That shit is crazy because let me tell you, one of the people that I was with, he was in therapy. And so he would leave the house to go have his little therapy sessions or whatever. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, like he's working on himself. He's working on his family, and we gonna like get this shit together and we gonna figure this shit out. And I'm a real motherfucking gangster. Anytime y'all hear me say this shit, I'm trying to I'm trying to stop the fucking tears from welling. So because I could even vividly remember like sitting on the couch and watching him walk out the door in his little black or white t-shirt, some sweatpants, and the hat to the back to go have this therapy session with his therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And in these moments, when he would walk out the house, I would think like, okay, he working on his family, he working on himself. And I would be so hard on myself about not being in therapy because I had so much going on. I had just had a new baby. I was like launching these pussy boxes. I was a waxer. I was doing all the things, and I just hadn't found the time to have a therapist. So I felt really guilty, but also really proud of him for finding therapy. And then one day he came back and we had an argument in regards to the therapist. And he was like, my therapist said X, Y, and Z. And basically alluded to the fact that the therapist told me that the therapist told him something around the lines of like, basically, I was the one wrong. And I'm like, what? No therapist in their right fucking mind would tell him that I was wrong, because the situation that we were arguing about consisted of him giving another woman money, and he lied about it, and he lied several times. It was 3 or 4 times that I asked him about this situation. And so he kind of spun it back on me like, you're accusing me of these things. You're insecure, like you're projecting. You don't have any trust. So it's you that's the problem, like my therapist said, type shit. And I'm thinking, like, ain't no fucking way you done told this therapist that you gave this girl the money, you lied about it, and all of the other things that you've done to me, like the little micro cheating, because it's been a lot of stuff, and I don't really want everything to come out on this episode. I'm not ready for it. But it was a lot of micro cheating, and some of it might have been macro cheating, but I was like, okay, I don't like this anyways, in any regard. We had this conversation, and he was like, the therapist was telling me, see, that's exactly what my therapist is talking about. You're blaming me. I'm the bad guy. I'm always the bad guy to you. And I'm over here feeling like, fuck. I'm accusing and I'm blaming and I'm making him feel bad. And I'm like fighting in my head. And honestly, if you feel like this, y'all, this is a sign that you probably should research or go get a therapist or go get help, because this is a huge sign of narcissism abuse. When you start questioning your own sanity and you know for a fact that you probably right. Like, we know the difference between right and wrong.
Not even probably. You saw with your own eyes what actually happened. This is not, I feel like this is what happened. This is, I saw it happen. And then they will try to tell you it did not happen.
Exactly.
This is what we talk about, just to clarify. Keep going.
I mean, and that's the gist of it. Like, in this moment, I remember thinking that, like, okay, so at first I was so happy you was going to therapy and you fix yourself. You're going to be a better man for our family. And like, we're going to figure this out, and we'll be in couples therapy soon, and premarital counseling and all of these great things. And then one day he came back and spun it. My therapist said, you the problem. And I'm like, and that shit sat with me for a long time. Like I told y'all, I was fighting a silent battle for a really long time, and I wasn't telling people. I'm like, damn, the therapist said I was fucking wrong. Like,
you should have called me after he told you that.
I didn't though. It was a long. I made some mistakes. And it took my therapy session for that to come out, when she told me that they have the ability to manipulate their therapist, and if the person is not well versed, some therapists are actually successfully manipulated by people who have NPD.
Well, as a therapist, it's going to be their job to listen to what their client is saying. So unless they know for certain that that person is lying, they're going to have to take what they say at face value. So yeah, it's very, very easy for a narcissist to, or any, honestly, we're talking about narcissism, but in reality, labeling somebody as a narcissist isn't what even is important. It's the behaviors that they exhibit that are the issue. And
say that again.
The behaviors are the issue. But the other piece of that is, there's a reason that I was susceptible to narcissism. The reason that is because I lacked major boundaries.
Same. And I was very empathetic.
It's very easy to blame them for everything that they did. And yes, they shouldn't have done what they did. At the same time, we let a lot of stuff slide.
You do. You got to take accountability for that. You let a lot of
Please.
stuff slide.
Accountability goes both ways.
Mhm.
Yes,
It's the
they're
first step to
jerks.
healing too. Right? Yeah, they are jerks.
But you also let them be jerks.
You allowed it for so long.
Yeah.
And I will say, my first step into healing was being able to take accountability. And I say that in one of my TikTok videos. Make sure y'all follow me on my healing page. It's at Lipstick and Heels on TikTok. But I say that in one of my healing videos. Like, if you want to become serious on your healing journey, you have to remove all blame. And you have to hold the person harmless, completely harmless. Because the burden of what they did to you and them being a jerk and them being an asshole is too heavy to carry. Even if they are absolutely wrong, it's too heavy to carry if you're trying to heal yourself. But you did mention boundaries.
Hey.
And that's a perfect segue to our next little segment, which is lip strips. I'm going to pull some lip strips on you. But for men, it's actually the ball strips.
Oh,
so
okay.
we're gonna switch it around because we got a male guest. We're gonna get into the ball strips, okay? I'm finna pull some ball strips. And basically what the ball strips are, it's the same thing that a lip strip is. It's the sensitive area. And if you haven't screamed your whole wax when that lip strip or when that ball strip get pulled, that's gonna be the one that can get a holler about it.
Not that bad.
Well, that's because your waxer is fucking amazing.
That is true.
And she used some amazing ass products. But seriously, I honestly, I really do have a painless wax process and a painless wax that I use. I say painless because compared to the wax that you're going to go get at these other chain centers or these inexperienced people, baby, you ain't feeling no pain. But anyway, so if you do feel any sensation, the most sensation that you will feel is going to be in that lip strip or that ball strip. So these questions are kind of our tear jerkers, like them strips are in the wax room.
You trying to make me cry.
I don't know. I always fuck up. I always lose. I'm a crybaby, bro. I'm trying, but I told you I'm gonna be authentic. So if I went for a little bit, I ain't gonna cut it out. I'm gonna share it. But y'all just know to put my face and all my truths and shit in front of these cameras, yo, this shit is a lot. So let me go ahead and pull your ball strip.
I tried to hold it in.
All right, there we go.
Do it again.
No. Can't do it twice.
I'm gonna replay it. That's all right. That's what we got edited for. What did you discover about your own needs and boundaries from being in a narcissistic relationship?
I had a very big willingness to sacrifice everything that I was trying to do to build a life with other people. That's probably been the biggest hindrance in my life to date. Is my decision to, and it's always, just to clarify, it's always been my decision.
I was an active participant in my circle. My name is Choc, and I am addicted to being an active participant in the bullshit that I accept.
Well, it's not even, I'll even take it a step further than what I'm accepting from the other people. Is that in the end hasn't even been the most detrimental thing. It's what I've been willing to put to the side for the sake of, oh, I see this thing over here that I like and I want to foster it.
So the most detrimental part is
me deciding to stop what I'm doing or put on hold to build over here. And the reason it's particularly ridiculous for me is because even my mode of operation, the way I view life and relationships, says I want a relationship in which this person is a fully formed person, has their own things going on. I am a fully formed person over here, and we bring that together.
100, 200%, not 50-50.
But without being asked, I've been willing, just because I'm extremely I'm observant.
Mm-hmm.
and I connect dots. And I
Mm-hmm.
see what may or may not be a problem. And well, crap, if I want to do that, then I might need to do this and fix this. And so that's what I was doing.
Fixing people.
And adapting who I am and where I want to be in the future to do it, basically.
Build a bitch.
What would you say?
Say it again.
Build a bitch.
Build a bitch.
Oh,
Build a
stop
nigga.
it.
You know what?
No.
What's
Yes.
different for me? I didn't necessarily have the building aspects. Like I didn't have to build the person. They were pretty well put together or whatever.
Mhm.
So again, this is why I didn't recognize it until the very end.
Mhm.
But what I wanted to say, much to what you said, is like you were saying the detrimental part, the most detrimental part is the sacrifice. I have found it very hard to forgive myself because in the pursuit of this relationship, in the pursuit of building this family and this kingdom and this fairy tale,
I like that phrasing. I like fairy tale.
I think I probably did this episode too early.
Ain't no such thing. You
I
did it when you was
wanted-
supposed to.
I wanted to be able to tell these stories when I could still have some emotion and some attachment, because sometimes you be so far removed from things you went through that you can't really relate anymore. I didn't want to wait till I got to that point, but I also didn't want to be so unhealed
Mhm.
where I like cried every little bitty thing. So
Yeah.
I don't know what part I'm in, but we said we healing and we being honest and upfront.
Yeah.
So for me, it was in order to build this fairy tale, everything took the back burner.
Mhm.
The Choc factory took the back burner. The pussy boxes took the back burner. I took the back burner. I sacrificed every single thing to make this fairy tale with this person work. And to even go a little deeper in that, I chose at the very start of my healing journey, I was like, I'm not fucking forgiving because this person know what they did. I do believe it was intentional. I believe it was strategic. I believe it was planned.
Mm.
And so I'm not going to forgive you for intentionally destroying me. I'm not forgiving you for intentionally coming in here, setting up our family, setting up my children on this beautiful, nice oriental rug. And then when the time was right for you, you pulled that motherfucker from up under us and everything fucking crumbled. I'm not forgiving you for that. And I was dead set on not forgiving. And then the more I tried to heal, try to put this podcast together or the bartending or anything that I wanted to do to feel whole again and to feel myself and to reintroduce myself to Choc, none of that shit was working. I was hitting at a dead end. I was hitting the wall. So I went to church one morning, desperate for an answer, desperate for some relief. I got so tired of the stagnation and everything. And I just was like, God, give me some, like, I need some let up from this. And it's crazy because you know how they do the little line to go to the pulpit? I wasn't doing it. Oh, it was times where I was angry with God, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. And so I'm like, I'm not going to the front asking for prayer. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna go to church. You already got me to go to church. I'm here. I'm not going to the front. Why did Amari run up to the line? My nanny got up to go to the bathroom and then he followed behind her, but that led him dead into the line where they were going to the pulpit. So of course I got to go run and get him because she's going to the bathroom. So I run up to go get Amari, and the older lady, it was like the mama of the church. She was like, go ahead, baby, go in front of me. I wanted so bad to be like, I'm not going up there. But I was stuck and I didn't know what to say, so I got in line anyway.
You got me.
So I get to the front of the line. You have the I don't really know what to call her. I guess I don't know if she's the pastor of the church, but I'm just gonna say the leader, right? That she was speaking. The lead speaker that day. She laid her hands on me. She got some blessed oil from another missionary, and she started praying over me. And well, before she started praying over me, she asked me. She said, "What is it that you want prayer for?" So at the time, my grandmother was having these mini strokes. And anybody that know me know I was raised by my grandmothers. They are my heart, my life, my everything, baby. So I was losing it internally, but trusting God, right? So I said, I want you to pray over my grandmother because she's having these many strokes. We don't know what's going on. So over my grandmother and over my business, over my baby. Because I just wanted to get back to myself, right? I had put all these things, I had put my business, my family, everything on the back burner. And so she got to praying over those things. And she told me, like, your business is fine. There's nothing wrong with your business. Your business is going to do great, but it is on pause right now because God is trying to get your attention. And she started to pray over my grandmother. And she told me, she was like, Granny fine too, but she is going to have to start listening and making better decisions. Y'all know how these black grandmamas do. They don't want to cut the salt. They don't want to cut the grease. They don't want to put the cigarettes down. They don't want to put the Coca-Colas down. And so as she was praying these things, mind you, she don't know us from a can of paint. I'm receiving it because it's the truth. Like, it's some health things that my grandmother needs to tweak. And I've been praying to God to shut this down because, God, I don't want it no more. So shut it down. And he kept telling me, like, no, I'm not shutting the waxing down. I'm not. We're not. It's a no. It's a hard no.
For what?
I wasn't there. I wasn't showing up to the business. So I felt like it was a failure. But to get to the point, she stopped mid-prayer. And she stopped praying. She told me those things and stopped praying over what I came there and asked for prayer for, which was my grandmother in the business. She told me what's wrong is your heart. She said, you are blocked. She rubbed blessed oil like right here. She said, your heart is blocked. You have to forgive those people who hurt you. And it's a couple of them. And until you forgive, everything is going to feel like it's on pause. Mind y'all, I told y'all I was not forgiving. I'm not forgiving you. You know what you did. And so I went home and I just tried to figure out how to forgive this person. You can hop on TikTok, you can hop on the internet, and you're going to find a lot of philosophical advice. You're going to find a lot of spiritual advice, a lot of emotional advice on forgiveness. You are not going to find any practical advice. I needed to know how to forgive. Yes, I already know, like, forgiveness, unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Again, we understand these philosophies and these lessons, but I don't know how to forgive this person. Like, how do I forgive when I'm so angry, when I'm so hurt, when I'm so mad, and I feel like you victimized me and I feel like you victimized my children and you did it on purpose? How do I forgive? So, long story short, I found out how to practically forgive, which one of the things that you can do, guys, is what Fred already mentioned. You have to realize that these people are just that. They're humans. And they had a human experience in life that caused them to be the person that they are today and to exhibit the behaviors that they're exhibiting. The manipulation, the control, the lying, the gaslighting. They're doing that because of a human experience that they had. And so once you learn to understand that, then you can give that person grace. And the more grace you give a person, forgiveness automatically follows. So when I started to realize, like, okay, he didn't do this because he hated me or he hated these kids. He did it because somebody hurt him. And people do what they know what to do. Like, some people are raised on love. Some people are raised on survival. Like,
we do what we're taught.
Exactly. And it's not for me to internalize. And I was internalizing a lot of this shit. So that was one practical way to forgive is understanding. Seek understanding, right? The second way is to pray over these people. And so I had been on that. When people make me mad and I remove them from my life and all that, I pray over them. I pray the best. I am never the girl that you could ever stun on with a new woman because I'm praying that stuff work out. I'm praying that you get married, that you please get the car, everything. Because I had an ex that he wouldn't move on and he tortured me. As long as he was unhappy, he tortured me. He texted people, he called my jobs. He wouldn't leave me alone. So I never want nobody to be stuck on me, bro. I'm literally praying that you get married. I'm praying that you have babies, that you live happily ever after. So I'm never the bitch that you can stun on ever. And I always pray for people because that's just what I do. Like I was praying over the person I had been praying. I never stopped praying. Even to this day, I pray over them. So that was already something I was doing practically and didn't even realize, like, that's kind of a part of forgiving, but I was still making the conscious decision not to forgive. So I go through all of these steps. I learned how to practically forgive this person. And I'm still learning because I don't feel like I've forgiven them 100%. I'm just being honest. It's going to come with some time. But I go through this step and I wash, rinse, and repeat with everybody, with my parents, with friends, with anybody that I had a grudge towards, even professionals, like people that I work with that I feel like wronged me. I went through this process of forgiving everybody. My business and everything was still stuck. Still stuck after I've forgiven all of these people. She told me to pray over my heart. She told me to like unharden my heart and forgive people. And now I've forgiven these people. I'm back at God. Like, now what do I do? One of my good friends, she called me on the phone. And she always calling me. She a therapist too, actually. She called me and she was checking on me and she was like, how you doing? And I love to tell her, I'm okay. And she'd be like, how are you really doing?
Mm-hmm.
So I broke down, told her how I was really doing. Everything feels stuck. Everything's stagnant. I'm not moving forward in life. I'm so angry. I went to church. The lady told me to forgive. I forgave him. I forgave everybody. And nothing is working. I'm still stagnant. And she said, well, who else on the list have you not forgiven? Nobody. I'm literally going down the list. I've forgiven everybody. Mama, daddy, this person, that person. I've forgiven all of these people and I've learned the practical steps. I've understood why they made the decisions that they made. I stopped internalizing it. I prayed for these people. I've practically forgiven all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat there in dead silence trying to figure out who was it that I haven't forgave. And she was like, are you sure? And so I started naming the list.
Mm-hmm.
The girl, Natisha, I done forgave everybody. And she said, have you forgiven yourself?
Hey, that's the one. That's a good therapist right there.
And the truth was, I had not.
Mm-hmm.
I forgave everybody else, but I hadn't forgiven myself for putting me on the back burner.
Because it's so easy to forget about you.
It is always. I had already did it.
Mm-hmm.
For sacrificing everything. For sacrificing. I was so angry at me.
Mm-hmm.
And so all the steps that I told you I just went through to forgive those people, I went through a process and I started to forgive myself. And myself is the hardest person to forgive. I still haven't forgiven myself. I've forgiven them more than I've forgiven myself still because I still be in the guilt. I still live in the shame every single day. But much to what you said, the most detrimental part of these types of relationships is sacrificing everything. Your mental, physical, financial, spiritual well-being. I sacrifice my children. I sacrifice my business. I sacrifice every fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the most detrimental part. And it makes you the hardest person to forgive because you were the one who played those cards. Tough cookie to swallow. Tough pill to swallow. Alrighty, so our next segment is called Don't Let Justin LaBoy Get You Fucked Up. That's actually a lyric of my baby girl, Lady London. I love her, y'all. She is my female GOAT. And in one of her songs, she say, don't let Justin LaBoy get you fucked up. For those of you who don't know who Justin LaBoy is, who's been living under a fucking rock, he has this meme page where he drops the most outlandish shit. And some people be believing it. And then they try to manifest it in real life and play with you. And so that's what Lady London was saying. Like, she was telling her nigga, like, don't read one of them Justin LaBoy memes and come in here with your chest poked out and let him get you fucked up. So in the wax room, clients always be like, did you see this meme? Did you see that meme? And, you know, the controversial stuff. And we talk about it. So that's where this segment comes from. And I add a meme from social media and we talk about it, okay?
Okay.
All right, so don't let Justin LaBoy get you fucked up. This meme is actually from OG Just So Raw Cat for Life. Y'all need to fucking stop with these goddamn Instagram names long as I-20. Oh my God. But anyways, the meme says, do not use me while you figure out what you really want. What are your thoughts on it?
Do not use me. The first thing that comes to mind I've had this conversation with a pretty good amount of people. And I think in our society today, almost none of us are actually prepared for what a relationship really means. We don't know what we want. We don't know what the full responsibility of relationships are supposed to be. Like, literally, we can't get that part together. So, something that occurred to me is that all of us are literally using others to learn what we need and want in relationship.
God damn it.
Because almost none of us have really been taught how to figure that out early on. We may not have had healthy examples of what a relationship should look like. Like, I didn't see my first healthy relationship until I was, well, like, I had to be 30 plus, somewhere 30 and older before I saw my first healthy relationship.
Wow.
So I understand the meaning of the meme, but that person also probably has used somebody for the same thing. So that's my thought.
You said a lot. you said a lot there. So that goes back to the conversation I told you I had with my therapist. Because I'm like so defensive. I'm not using anybody. And as a healer, it makes you feel good to be able to heal people. Build a bitch. Build a nigga. So I'm using you because I like how this feels. It feels fulfilling to me. So you right. Like we all do kind of use people in a sense. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean that we were like not genuine or we had malice intent, but we all kind of use the people a little bit to get what we want. I absolutely 100% agree with that. The reason why I chose that meme is because it struck a nerve when I seen it. And it was a trigger. Honestly, it was a trigger because in my last situation, I do feel like that. I truly believe that he used me and my children to teach somebody a lesson.
Ooh, I don't think you told me that piece. Okay.
That
makes sense. It makes sense.
It's a lot I haven't
Just
said.
Based on what we've talked about before, it makes perfect sense.
It's a lot I haven't said. We're gonna unfold it on this. We're gonna unpack it. We're gonna unpack it on Wax Room on there though. God damn it, because this is my journey to healing myself. Too. I want to heal just as much as I want to help other people heal. But I feel like me and my children were used to teach somebody a lesson. And in return, again, I was an active, willing participant. I said, hey, I'm a clown here. Use me. Keep on using me until you use me up. In the words of the late Pimp C. I forget who is I know he's not the originator of the song. I know he sampled it. Don't cuss me out in the comments to my music warriors. But, yeah, I really did feel that, truly. And I still think that to this day because it's just so much trauma, it's so much pain for every single person to move through, even down to the 2-year-old. I see signs of trauma and everything with him, and I'm thinking like he would have forgot about it because he was not even a year at the time of separation. So I'm thinking, yeah, you're going to forget and you're going to be okay. And I just have to work on my heart and I have to work on the 9-year-old's heart. But no, everybody hurt. Everybody got their shit that they got to deal with. And I think that's the most infuriating part of the situation for me is like, you came here, you wanted to act like we was going to have this happy family and build a family. And it wasn't true. You didn't truly really want to build this family. All of those things that you were promising, like there was one point where the 9-year-old, he was 6, and he was telling the person like, I want a house. And he told him, I'm going to buy you a house. And I'm going to buy you a backyard and I'm going to buy you a house with a backyard and you can have anything that you want. Just ask me for it. And my child fell in love with that. Like, I'm going to have these great, wonderful, grand things. And it's hurtful to think back to that moment because, again, like I said earlier, I know the true intent behind it was to teach somebody else a lesson, and you never really ever intended on buying that house anyways. That's another red flag to look for when you're dealing with or feeling like you might be dealing with narcissism is
Future faking.
Future faking. Absolutely. And what is the other one? It's crazy because we finna get into this. Damn, it's another term that I'm looking for. Cause the somebody called me, and when she called me on the phone, she was telling me this. She
Can
was
you
like,
describe it?
damn, let me think. She called me and she was like, love bombing.
Oh, yeah.
She called me on the phone and she was talking
It's
to me about
guaranteed.
him. And she was like, he love bombed me and he did all of this and he did all this. And at this point, I had never knew what love bombing was. I mean, I could, from context, I see what you're saying. And I'm thinking it's literally just that, not knowing it in a narcissistic sense. And so those are traits and those are signs and red flags to look for. Somebody who is love bombing, somebody who is over promising the world to you, or future faking, telling you they're going to give you everything you ever wanted and you never have to worry about anything else. Like, people shouldn't be coming with these grand claims very early on.
Without any course of action, any plans of, like, if we're going to say that we're going to build a life together, then we need to actually be sitting down talking about what those steps look like to get to that place.
But the thing is, we were.
And actionable, like, are we taking action right now, or is it action that's going to be down here that we can take?
Nah, baby, we was fixing credit. We were looking.
Oh, that's something he could benefit from right now. So
we
that
were
was good for him.
shopping. Fuck, we was planning it for real. So that's another reason why I find this shit so shocking.
That's wild. Yeah.
To go that far and to know like that really wasn't, and I don't feel like I could be convinced otherwise. Maybe I will later down the healing.
But that's why it makes even more sense what you said. The reason I would go that far into the process, even if I'm not intending to, is to do exactly what you said.
Teach somebody a lesson. Mm-hmm. And so really that's just my biggest ask. And for a lot of people, that needs to be your biggest ask is, don't use me. I'm not a placeholder. Don't use me while you figure out what the fuck you really want.
Mm-hmm.
It do not be a placeholder, because there is a lot of pain and there is a lot of triggers and emotions and everything that comes along with that. But back to what we said, we have to learn how to start taking accountability, because I allowed myself to be a placeholder. And I, I was an active, willing participant in that shit. So I agree with this meme 110%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, motherfucker, don't come in my life trying to use me to get what you really want while you try to figure out what the fuck you really want. Please don't do that, because you breaking hearts. You causing collateral damage, it's just so much involved with that. But I do identify with that meme 110%. We're going to move on to our next segment, which is called Let Me See It. Let me see it, let me see it, be it over, let me see it. That comes from the late Pimp C. So when my clients get waxed, they always quickly be like, let me see it. They bending over in the mirror. They want to show their partners. They can't wait to put the results to use. And so that's where this Let Me See It segment comes from. It's essentially just grown folks talk. It's sex talk. And it is also another meme from Horgasmic. It's another meme from Horgasmic. And baby, I love your name. It's exactly how it sounds. The word whore and then GASMIC. Horgasmic on Instagram. It says, toxic sex is the best sex. Y'all ever made love to someone who wasn't healthy for you? Boy, that shit is crack.
Disagree.
I was going to ask you how you feel about that.
He said disagree real fast.
I was going to ask you how you felt about that.
All right. So, if I'm going to be honest. The best sex I ever had was definitely with somebody who wasn't healthy for me.
So why you disagree?
But
your mic.
I'm also not the kind of person who is moved by sex.
Oh, that's the problem.
So,
hey, God love me some good dick though.
I won't say that it doesn't. It's a very connecting experience. Mm-hmm. So there's always going to be the element of feelings and attachment and that connection piece. Mm-hmm. But as far as when I think of addiction, I think I'll do anything to have it. And that's never been me with sex. So, no, thank you.
You're actually quite a healthy person. But I will say, I had that conversation today when I was getting my makeup done. Speaking of, shout out to you, Robin. Okay, sis really be on the beat for real all the time. Every time I get out her chair, I'm still chocolate. Ew. I was getting my makeup done and I was saying that like that's one of my vices. Like, good dick. Oh my God, you can have anything that you want from me.
I noticed. You got to stop posting that. You giving them the playbook. You're making it way too easy.
But let me tell you what the gag is.
What?
That was 20-year-old me.
Oh, okay. So you just be.
I'm talking on how homegirl. I can relate.
Okay.
Good dick can't get, baby. I'm not
dig it.
even being touched at this moment and point in my life. I don't have no sex. I don't have no masturbation, no porn, no roses, no nothing. I'm not doing anything
Look
of
at
that
you.
nature. Somebody growing up around this
Look at
motherfucker.
her growing up.
It's a part of the healing process. Some of it is by force and not choice, okay? But I won't say it was by force and not choice, but kind of a little bit of a little bit of choice there because I only choose to share my body with somebody who is healthy for me. So my take on this meme is stop putting toxic dick in your body. Yes, it's good. Yes, it's great. You go back and you have a great time, but it's only for about 10 to 15 minutes, and it's going to cause you years and years of agony, and that shit really do not be worth it. I mean, and I can't lie, I still have my days where I'm looking at the phone like, hold on, let me go ahead and do it. I still have my days where I'm sitting up in the middle of the night and I want to star 6 7. When I'm up to no good, I love to call from No Caller ID, okay? So I ain't far removed from that life, but I haven't done it, and I'm so grateful and proud that I didn't go back. And I'm going to tell y'all why, and we're going to move on to the next segment. Because when I did go back, even after the breakup for some good, nasty, toxic sex, I realized when I woke up the next morning, like, nigga, I'm done with you, for real. And I can't keep doing this to myself. Like, I knew I was done. And what's crazy about it is his ass knew I was done too. Because for the first time in all the months that we was struggling to stay together and fight, well, it was really me in the ring by myself. But he came over to the other side of the bed. This nigga hugged me from behind and like was empathetic. And like, I'm sorry. And I love you. And all of this shit. And I was confused. I was like, bro, you said so much mean shit when we were breaking up. Mind you, this is only like 2 months post breakup. This is February. We broke up and we broke up at the end of November. So this was like 2 months. And where was this guy when I needed this guy? Because I was going through some shit, y'all. I was going through some health issues. I was going through a lot of things. And I was getting the cold shoulder. And I was getting the back turned at night. And those are also red flags that you should be looking out for. Because if you are going through those things and somebody is withholding affection from you and they're withholding sex and they're withholding conversation and communication and things that you need, basic human needs, that's also a sign you could possibly be dealing with a narcissist. Yeah. Those are red flags to look at. But again, I ain't diagnosing it.
We ain't no doctors.
We ain't no doctors around this motherfucker. I don't cut. I don't do none of that. You don't want me in the operating room because the bitch, you ain't gonna make it. The only thing I could do is pray for you. That wraps up that segment. Our next segment is called Trauma Dump. This is where I give my listeners a chance to write in and get some advice from myself or my wonderful guest or the both of us. And y'all can send these letters into waxroomonair@gmail.com. I'm going to pick one that usually matches with the episode. I try my best. I don't have a lot of entries right now, hint, hint. So y'all might want to get to the inbox. And if y'all DM them to me on any platform, I'll just copy them and put them in my little Google note. I'll organize it. But anyways, let's get into Trauma Dump. This segment comes because in the wax room, there is a lot of trauma dumping. We talking about daddy issues. We talking about mama issues. We talking about abortions and miscarriages and a lot of the things that we've been through in life. And so I would be doing a disservice if I don't add a segment like that into Wax Room on Air. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and read the letter. She says, "Hey, Choc, I follow you on Facebook. You are a mess." When you just talking about them Facebook
Facts.
posts? Wait a minute, I'm gonna read the whole letter, then we're gonna talk about it.
You already know. You ain't what's to talk about. You
She-
know it.
She said, "Hey, Choc, I follow you on Facebook. You are a mess. Your page is all in one, funny but serious. And I love, 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 love when you talk about God. Your post really caught my attention, and I've been hooked ever since. Parentheses, why do niggas hide the baby?" Oh, did you see that status?
No.
I made a status.
Wait. Which one?
Why do niggas hide the baby that they
Oh.
got on the way?
I think I did.
First of all, let me get through this letter,
Yeah.
okay? Let me get through this letter.
Mhm.
Your post really caught my attention, and I've been hooked ever since. Why do niggas hide the baby? She put that in parentheses. Recently, I discovered that my son's father, with whom I share a complicated history, decided to have a child with me while he was in a relationship with another woman. He was keeping both families a secret from each other. Fortunately, I managed to uncover the truth about his other relationship. I found out that they actually live together. I had no idea about her, but she still hates me and is always full of drama, and he plays both sides. It's like he gets a kick out of me and her being at odds. I need some wisdom on how to handle this mess because co-parenting is no joke, and I just want to do what's best for my baby. Any thoughts or advice you got would mean the world to me. Yay! So let's get into it. I'm gonna let you give her advice first.
Again, it ain't about him getting a kick out of it. He needs y'all to be at odds because if y'all work together,
It don't benefit.
it don't benefit.
Man, speak on this shit. Man, speak on. Can I say something real quick? Remember I told you I got a phone call? The baby mama called me, y'all. And I talked to this girl for a long time. I want to say 2 hours. I would go find the receipts, but it was over an hour. It was close to 2 hours. So when I didn't tell him right away because I had other shit to do, drop the kids off at school, go to work, waste the client. So when I finally told him, he was like, "Why wouldn't you tell me when she first called you?" And so he started referring to her as my little friend. And he was like, "You and your friend, and y'all got something against me." And I kept like trying to overprove myself, like
Your
I don't
behavior, sir. Yeah.
I was like, "I don't have nothing against you." She called. First of all, this was her second time calling me. Oh my God, yo, we're gonna get into this shit we're gonna get into this gangster shit on the podcast. Okay. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna lay it all out. But we just gonna summarize it for the purposes of this video. I mean, for the purposes of this episode. So when I told him like she had called, he was like, "That's your friend. Like everybody is against me and everybody is teaming up on me." And I'm like, whoa. I wasn't teaming up. I was just listening to what the girl had to say. Shit. Cause the one thing about y'all gotta believe when it's some truth to when Barbara, this is Shirley, when Shirley call you to tell you some shit, it's some truth to what the fuck Shirley is saying. Now she probably wants your nigga, and I ain't gonna deny that. And she trying to run you up out the picture. That is true. But it still is some truth to what she's saying. Because like I told y'all earlier, she was saying like he's love bombing and he's a narcissist. And she started calling him all of these things.
Mhm.
And that wasn't my experience with him at the time. So I'm like, and maybe she just sad, bitter, going through it. The girl was pregnant at the time. So
Mhm.
a lot of hormones and stuff going on or whatever.
She's like, "Girl, I'm trying to save you."
She wasn't trying to save me. She wanted that nigga. She was not trying to save me, baby. She wanted that nigga because if she was trying to save me, we ain't gonna get into
Okay,
this.
we ain't get into it. We ain't get into it.
We ain't gonna
My
get
bad.
into this gangster shit
Keep
right
going,
now.
keep going.
But it be some truth to what Shirley is trying to tell you when
Mhm.
she calling you on the phone. So, anyways, that phone conversation, he started to make it seem like me and her were friends, and like you said, that's because it wasn't to your benefit for us to have that conversation. But my bad. I'm gonna let you
Yes.
finish.
Oh, that's so. I don't have any advice necessarily for it, co-parenting,
Mm-hmm.
because in order to effectively co-parent, it requires two adults to sit down and have a conversation. So I can't really tell you how to make a person who doesn't want to sit down and have an adult conversation do that. If they don't want to do it, ain't nothing you can do. And what to do after that, that's not in my wheelhouse. if dude is willing to sit down and have a conversation, then we can talk. But past that,
So
like,
if he
that
was
ain't-
sitting down and willing to have a conversation, what would you say?
You would hope that what our goal is the best interest of the children. Point blank. Period. What else is there to discuss?
Because that's what the court is gonna tell you. The court, they don't care about here and there and everywhere.
Mhm.
They want to know literally the best interest of the child. Fathers, mothers, anybody going through a court case, keep that in the forefront of your mind. All your arguments need to have the same common ground and common goal, and that is the best interest of the child. Don't bring up nothing else. Don't bring nothing up about that person or anything that they're doing unless it negatively impacts that child. The court don't give a fuck about nothing about but the child. And so that would be my advice to you, sis. Number one, get the court involved.
In order to do that, what's required is for both of us to take our egos out of the equation.
For sure.
I want it done this way, that way. No. How can we work together to make sure that we take care of these kids the best way possible?
Much to what you're saying, too. To keep it all the way P, y'all got to stop giving a fuck about what the other parent got going on. Who they fucking, what they doing when they don't have a kid. I'm going to tell y'all, one of the things
unless it involves the kids, it's irrelevant.
Literally irrelevant. When there was a point in time where me and my baby daddy, we had to go to therapy together. And this was part of a court order or whatever. And so our therapist had us reach our hands out. Anything that you could touch, you could control. That's the only thing that you could give an opinion on. That's the only thing that you could worry about. Everything that you could reach out and touch that was in your control. If I can't touch it, then I can't manipulate it. It's not my business. Mm-hmm. And so that the point of that exercise was basically mind your own motherfucking business, bitch. Both of everybody. That's just the urban way of me saying it. You can't control what he's doing. If at the time he pissing you off because he with another girl, or is she pissing you off because she with another man, or she doing X, Y, and Z. If you can't reach out and tangibly touch it, it don't have nothing to do with you. It's not within your control. You cannot control everything. Stop trying to control the other parent, basically. Remove, like you said, your pride, remove your ego, remove your expectation and everything of the other parent. Let them do their thing, because at some point, y'all was together and y'all was fornicating and procreating life. So you trusted them in some fashion or another. You need to exhibit that same trust with this child and remove yourself completely from the situation. But that would be my advice, honestly. Number one, get the courts involved, because if she is still bitter and you said that that's where he lives, like that's his home, she obviously is going to be involved, especially if they have children. I don't remember if you mentioned that. If they have children together, obviously she's going to be around for a long time. I would get the court involved. It's very black and white, and it's an order that the person got to abide by, and it really alleviates a lot of stress. A lot of the times y'all got to communicate through an app. So all of that stuff is court documented. You're not getting abused. You're not getting cussed at. You're not getting yelled at. If you are, then it's literally court documentation. So then they can take other measures to protect you and your child. Another thing, run for the hills. Run. Don't try to compete with that girl for that man. Don't do it. Exit stage left. Okay? Completely remove yourself from the situation, because it is not something that you want to be a part of. It is a lot of drama, toxicity, and everything. And you didn't even already, like, she mad at you and you ain't even know. You said you found out he was hiding both families. So he was really, and these men really do, women too, but men more so, because a woman cannot hide a fucking pregnancy. It's very hard. It's hard to hide a pregnancy after the pregnancy. My baby too. You can still say I had a baby. Goddamn me. These men are notorious for living double lives, and he's already showed you that he has that characteristic or that personality or whatever the case is, where he would live a double life. So just remove yourself from that situation. And then I would also research triangulation, like we were talking about earlier in the episode, because that's where that comes in. Like you said, you and her being at odds, he is the puppet master. How do puppet masters do their thing?
That's close enough.
Okay. He is the puppet master, baby. And he wants y'all against each other. This is him. This is you. This is her. Don't that look like a triangle to y'all? So research triangulation, because that actually sounds like what you might be dealing with. Okay, I'm not a therapist. Again, this is from my personal experience. This is from my own history and my own research. But I do think you should probably look up triangulation, and that way basically find a way to understand what you're going through, and then also know how to respond. Research triangulation, because that might be what you are experiencing, and you don't want no parts of that. I didn't realize that earlier on. And so I was taking on a lot of drama, a lot of extra shit that I really wasn't comfortable with dealing with. Phone calls, bitter baby mama shit. And I wasn't okay with it, but I decided to adopt it because of, like you were saying earlier, like I'm sacrificing my own comfort. I'm sacrificing my own peace and sanity for this idea or this family that I want to build. And I didn't get away from it fast enough, and it really deteriorated a lot of my existence. It was the bane of my it was a pain, and it was a thorn in my fucking ass, okay? It grinded my motherfucking gears, nigga. If I'm just being, that shit's stressful, bro. The bitter baby mamas, God, they got an episode coming. That shit is not fun to deal with. So, sis, even if she is the wife, if she bitter, you do not want no parts of that. So our next segment, which is also one of our last segments, is called Ouch Bomb. It's basically giving credit to one of my products that I use in a wax room called Ouch Bomb. After my waxes are complete, I put on this Ouch Bomb. It heals the skin. It protects the skin. It soothes the skin because it has went through a little bit of trauma, just like the trauma dump we just finished up with. Y'all like how I tied that shit together? Ew. Okay, I'm a little creative. So Ouch Bomb is basically healing advice. And again, y'all gonna learn I love me some social media. So this is another social media meme. I'm gonna go ahead and read this healing advice. It comes from her and Jesus. Everything is spelled out correctly. And that's on Instagram. It says, I had to take you from where you thought you needed to be to a place you didn't want to see so that you'd grow into the person I called you to be. Signed, God. And I'm gonna say that one more time. I had to take you from where you thought you needed to be to a place you didn't want to see so that you'd grow into the person I called you to be. God. Woo! That was some healing advice for me. All of these things, a lot of these Ouch Bombs and these memes, I was sharing them years ago, like 2 years ago when I was going through my stuff. I was sharing them, and I knew I wanted to speak on that later. I didn't know what, but it ended up becoming in the form of a podcast. So this was very near and dear to my heart because I'm going to tell y'all, that's exactly why this podcast is being brought to you to this day. Because I thought I was going to get married and I was going to have a family and we were going to live happily ever after. And that's where I wanted to be and that's where I needed to be. And when those things started to deteriorate and it became more realistic and evident that it wasn't going to happen, baby, I fought that shit. I kicked, I screamed, I cried. I did everything short of a suicide attempt. And if you want to be technical, it could have been an attempt somewhere. And I fought it for a long time because that's what I wanted. I wanted a family. I wanted a husband. I wanted the house. I wanted the togetherness. I wanted a 2-parent household, and I felt like that's what I needed. And so in my Job season, when God took me away from every single thing that I needed, then I found out my purpose and I got closer to my passion. And I realized that this was all a part of his plan in the first place. So I could be who he truly called me to be. I can sit in front of these lights that's making me hot as hell. I can sit in front of these lights. I can sit in front of this camera and I can showcase this pussy box that I personally designed out of my heart, out of my own passion, out of my own purpose. And I can also at the same time simultaneously talk to y'all about shit that hurt me, shit that I never felt like I was going to make it through, and help you guys heal, but also heal myself and kind of overcome one of my biggest fears, which is showing my scars, showing the ugly parts of me. I'm always scared, even now, of what people are going to say, or how people are going to judge me. That's why I keep owning this gangster shit, because I don't want to cry, because then motherfuckers make fun of you for crying on the internet when it's shit that really like tug at your heartstrings. So I said all that to say I went through some very ugly things. God stripped me away from what I thought I needed. He put me exactly where I needed to be because this right here is more fulfilling than anything I've ever done in my whole entire life. I know I'm on the right track. Regardless of what money look like, regardless of I don't go home to a man holding me at night, right? All of the things that used to make my pride happy and my ego happy, I don't have none of that no more. But I am so much better than I have ever been in life simply because this is where God wanted to put me. And I say that to say to you, y'all listening to this episode in 2024, like this is the start. This is where I have 0 followers. This is where I have 0 downloads. This podcast is going to get to the point where it's 10 downloads and then 1,000 downloads and then 10,000 downloads and then 10. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just going to keep on fucking growing. So I want people to really understand that I had to trust God. And I really had to be I'm uncomfortable right now. And I really had to sacrifice a lot of things to be where he needed me to be. And he had to take away all of the shit. He had to take the man. He had to take the business. He had to take the comfort. He had to take the security, the pride, the ego, the hair, the nails, all that shit went, y'all. I lost everything. I was really in a Job season for the last 2 years. And this podcast is really my journey on getting it all back. And I want to be able to look back on these videos and these episodes and see like, wow, this is where God brought me from. But I am my own case study. I'm my own testament of the fact that, baby, this meme is absolutely true. I'm currently growing into the person that God called me to be. And it's hard. But I'm here and I'm doing it.
That's facts. I ain't got nothing to add to that.
Why don't everybody say that? Everybody say after the outro, right everybody be like, what you said was, is that your way of telling me I talk too much?
No.
It was just spot on. It's okay.
I agree. I only speak when I actually have something to say. And if you said all of it,
respect,
and you articulated it perfectly, and I ain't got to come in and say, what about this?
And I know that to be true in real life too.
Yeah.
But yeah, y'all.
You did that.
I went through some uncomfortable shit, and I'm still living through it. But I know for a fact this is the path that God had me on. And it's starting to make sense. It don't make full sense. The puzzle is not complete yet. But I am where he needed me to be. So be okay with him taking the things that you became so attached to.
Yeah.
Because it's going to work out in the end. I'm going to read one more thing because there's no way that I could articulate this the way it needed to be articulated. So I'm going to read this off to y'all, and I want y'all to take this and let this be your healing advice. This is actually from a narcissist. This is actually from a narcissism support page on Instagram. It's called no_more_abuse_. Make sure you follow them if you feel like you have been a victim of narcissism or if you are currently going through it. Because I could not say this better, so I just gotta read it word for word. A narcissist's number one tool is neglect. What better way to crush a person's spirit than to treat them like they don't matter? What better way to invalidate a person's existence than ignoring them? Their needs, their wants, their words. What is most important to them and what means the most to them? What better way to take a person out of the equation and make them feel invisible? The sooner who you are becomes less and less important, the more the narcissist becomes more and more important. This is why it is so difficult to heal from narcissistic abuse, because it's not just the ending of a bad relationship. It's the realization that they broke your spirit. They stole what is most important to you, the essence of who you are. And I just want y'all to hold those words, because that's one of their tactics and their strategies is to have you forget about who you are. We talked a lot about sacrificing ourselves and people pleasing, and to the point where you forget who you are and you don't even recognize yourself anymore. Your wants, your desires, everything go to the back burner, and you're only focused on this one person. Your life becomes consumed with them. So when you go through the discarding phase, which is another red flag in narcissism, once you're going through the discarding phase and they've forgotten about you, seemingly, all you can ever think about is them. But it was designed that way because you spent the whole relationship pouring into them and forgetting about you. The best thing you can do is remember who the fuck you are. There is this TikTok video. Go search this TikTok video. Type in something like the big dog or something like that. And I'll link it on this episode too. She was talking about how her dog was a puppy.
Mhm.
And so she used to show the baby, the dog, the mirror all the time and like show the dog himself. And then she stopped doing it. And so the dog grew up, became a big dog. And her son showed the dog its reflection. And the dog got scared. Because the image that it remembered was when it was small. And she says at the end of the video, you forgot you was a big dog.
That's
you a big motherfucking dog. You a big stepper, right?
I forgot. Didn't even know.
You forgot you was a big dog. And baby, the first time I seen that video, tears start pouring. Cause I forgot about the Choc factory. I forgot about the mother that I was. I forgot about the woman that I was. I forgot about the business. I forgot about the faith that I had in God. I told y'all there were times where I was angry with God. There were times where I wouldn't even pray. And I've been a huge praying person. Like I was 4 years old leading prayer. I forgot all of those things. A narcissist will make you forget that you a big dog. Don't forget that you a big dog. And if you do, that's what you need to become obsessed with. Stop obsessing over them and become obsessed with who you are and finding your way back. Jaheim got a song, trying to find my way back, way back to you. Yeah, don't try to find your way back to them. Find your way back to you. You know what? It was a segment I forgot to add, but we learning and growing with this podcast. I'm going to call that segment somewhere along the lines of like, pass the aux cord or give me the aux cord. For you young Gen Z people, y'all don't know what the hell that mean. But back in the day, if we wanted to listen to something or play our song, we had to pass the motherfucking aux cord. Because what you playing is not giving. So that's basically me just telling y'all a few songs that helped me through this portion of my life. So when I was dealing with this type of situation or narcissistic abuse, I'm going to give y'all the songs that helped me get through what I went through. So pass me the fucking aux cord so I can put on the music for you. I think that you guys should go listen to Plan B by Megan Thee Stallion. I think you should listen to Deserve by Ken the Man. And I also think that you should listen to Whole Damn Year by Mary J. Blige. If you have ever been a victim or are currently going through narcissistic abuse, those songs will resonate and they will help you get through your shit. Thank you for passing me the aux cord. We're going to go to our last segment, which is called...
Let me give them some songs.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Can I?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
I got 3 for you. It's Okay by D Smoke.
Mm-hmm.
North Star by Moo Fresh featuring D Smoke. And what's that weird? What's that crazy? What's her name? King's Affirmation. You know what's her name, sister? God dang it. Just look up King's Affirmation. I'm sorry I can't remember your name. My bad. But I'm trying to put people on you. Those are 3.
Oh,
all of them are about. It's about remembering who you are. Legitimately, it's like it's gonna be okay. Right? You got this. Don't forget who you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll also link these songs too. I'll make sure I put them in the description. So if it come back to you.
Aniko.
So is that who it is? Aniko?
Mm-hmm.
It's by Aniko, guys. So our very last segment is called Rebook. That's the most important part of your wax. When you get a wax, make sure you rebook for 4 weeks. 6 weeks if your schedule don't fit, but 4 weeks, preferably. This helps you keep consistent with your skincare regimen. It holds you accountable because you have this appointment on your books that you have to show up to. You're less likely to maneuver from it and like not show up for your 6 week maintenance. And it also builds your network because you're seeing your waxer over and over and over again, and y'all are getting closer to each other and just building camaraderie and building a very meaningful relationship. So I highly suggest that you rebook your wax. And with that being said, I have one thing to ask you. Please make sure that if you found any value in this episode, rebook with Fred. Connect with him on all of his social medias. Support anything that he has going on. Get you a fucking massage, because baby, them hands are blessed. And make sure that you rebook with him. Is there anything that you would like to leave the audience with? Let us know what you have going on, where they can find you on socials, all of that stuff.
You can find me on Instagram at theflextouch. I also have a website, theflextouch.com. That's for booking mobile appointments. I'm only mobile Mondays and Fridays, but the availability is from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. on both of those days. And then you can also find me at Equinox Highland Park.
Okay, fancy.
Yeah. If I am a master therapist at Equinox, so ask for Frederick.
Okay, ask for Frederick at Equinox. I like that. Alrighty. Along with the rebook, I just ask that you review this podcast. If you want to support me for free, just leave a review. Make sure that you share the reels on social media. Those things go a long way, but they're absolutely free to you. Believe y'all me, even on this episode, it might be TMI, but y'all, we went way over. So that money is coming out of somebody's account. I don't know whose it is. Choc Factory, pussy box. So these things cost a lot of money for me to be able to bring forward to y'all. And it just costs a lot of emotional and physical. I've been texting on my ass. So if you want to support me for the free, just leave me a review. Even if you hated the episode, let me know what you hated about it. I take constructive criticism very well, and I will work to fix the things that I need to fix. But please review. Please review this podcast. Leave a review on YouTube. Leave a review on Spotify. Make sure that you go and you subscribe to my Patreon. You're gonna get some exclusive content. You're gonna get the shit that I'm scared to put on in the public eye, because people, I be having lurkers, y'all, for real. I really do have lurkers. So yeah, if you're gonna support me for free, leave a review. If you're gonna support me because you a big baller and a big motherfucking stepper, make sure that you subscribe to my Patreon. And that's really all I have for y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get the outro and the disclaimer out. I do want to say thank you to our incredible guest, Mr. Fred, Mr. Flex Touch himself, who has bared his soul today and has shared his stories. Your authenticity and transparency is the heartbeat of this podcast. And this type of setting and conversation is going to make my vision and my mission come true. So I really thank you.
I appreciate you letting me be a part of it.
Really?
Yeah.
I thank you for coming and sharing, getting all naked for me in front of all of these cameras.
I don't know how nervous I was. This is my first time doing anything like this. I am technically.
Is this really your first time?
Very much camera shy. So
wow, I'm popping cherries around this motherfucker. I love it.
Have you seen any videos of me on my page?
No, I have not.
That's why.
So much better there.
Okay, come on. That's such a fucking accolade. That's such an accolade. As we conclude, remember that healing is a continuous journey, and thriving is your birthright. Until the next episode, this is Choc, your host, Coochie Connoisseur. I might fuck around and heal. Are you coming? Disclaimer. In this podcast episode on narcissism, I want to empathize that I am not a professional psychologist or therapist. I am not making specific claims or diagnoses against any individual, and this content is not intended to be a substitute for professional advice. Listeners should consult qualified professionals for personalized guidance. The content shared is based on personal experiences and research. It's crucial to recognize that narcissism is a complex subject, and self-diagnosis can be misleading. Listeners are encouraged to conduct their own research, seek professional advice, and refrain from making conclusive judgments about themselves or others based solely on the information presented here. Remember, understanding mental health is a nuanced process, and seeking guidance from qualified professionals is always recommended. So if you a mental health therapist, person, platform, and you feel like it's somebody that you want to sponsor, wink, wink, bitch. I'm out.